say good afternoon.
Morning.
Thank everyone for joining the JCC of Mid-Westchester's newest virtual program, Crossword Coach. We're so excited to welcome you and Steve, our crossword expert. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I hope everyone is going to enjoy a margarita later on today, at least afternoon. Also, please remember that today we are celebrating Giving Tuesday, which is especially important for nonprofit organizations like ours. We're all experiencing a lot of challenging financial outlooks for the future, so please consider a donation for Giving Tuesday. Thank you again for joining us. We are sure to learn. I know I'm going to learn and have a lot of fun. Here is Stephanie from Arts&Talks to introduce Steve and a little bit about our Arts&Talks programming.
Hi, how are you, everyone? So happy to be here. I am Stephanie Balkin. I'm the Director of Arts&Talks, and that's this program here, bringing world-class arts and culture to Westchester and now to across the country as we do our programs virtually. It's really nice to see everybody here this morning. Even though we can't be together in person, there's really something special about being able to be a community, getting together, seeing familiar and new faces. I think it's really important. And thank you so much for being part of JCC of Mid-Westchester. Before I get to Steve, there are a couple of just logistical things I wanted to mention. We are being recorded, or I am recording it, I should say, to be used at a later date. Also, right now, everyone is on mute. But as we go through the puzzle, we are going to unmute everybody. So if you have something you want to say, please raise your hand, and but just know that you can be heard. Also, as Mara mentioned, they also wanted to recognize Susan Groner, who is here. Also, everyone knows her from senior programming and program operations at the JCC. And we are, again, today is Giving Tuesday now, so please consider making a donation. And just wanted to let you know about a program we're having next week. With Broadway star Alexandra Silber. I'll be in conversation with her about her Broadway career, as well as she's an author of 2 books. So that's on Thursday, May 14th. So that's our next Arts&Talks virtual program. Now to the main event. We are so excited to have Crossword Coach Steve here. Steve Marin is a writer, entrepreneur, filmmaker who made several comic documentary films for HBO. He's had a few successful businesses, including owning a cafe/screening room in Nyack called Reality Bites from 2004 to 2007. Steve just published a book on parenting, which I'd love to read. Steve is a local guy who grew up in New Rochelle, so shout out to New Rochelle, and was a member of the Mid-Westchester Y, as it used to be known, our JCC of Mid-Westchester, for many years as a kid. He's done the New York Times crossword every day for 40 years. It's his most loyal friend, and it has helped him become a better speaker, a better writer, and a formidable Jeopardy player. We're so excited to have Steve with us today, our crossword coach. So please help me welcome Steve. I'm very excited to see you and to have you here. Oh, one other thing I just wanted to mention, for those of you who are not as familiar with Zoom, if you'd like to watch Steve talking, you can use the speaker view in the upper right corner, or you can make it like a Brady Bunch kind of configuration where you can see everybody, and that you can do by putting it into gallery view. Steve, take it away.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. Thanks, everyone, for being here. This is going to be fun. This is a pretty big group, so let's see how we can manage it. What I am going to do in a moment is share the screen. So what you're seeing now is going to turn into a grid for the puzzle with the clues. So when we get there, I just want to make sure that everybody is seeing what they're supposed to see, and I'll describe how we're going to do it. This puzzle that we're going to do today is from Wednesday, September 19th, 2018. And as we do it, I think you'll understand why I chose this particular puzzle for this day. So if you give me a moment, I am going to see if I could get the puzzle up. And let's see, here it is.
1 second, unmute. Wait. Unmute.
now.
Steve, hold on. I'm not sure that we're gonna be able to keep everyone unmuted. I think that we're gonna work as best we can to call on people, I think.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Stephanie.
Yes.
Are you able to see everybody? Because I'm not going to be able to see everybody raising hands or whatever. Is that what you're suggesting? That
It's what I'm suggesting. It's how,
I can see everyone.
yes, me too. The only thing is that in our record, you know what, Mara? I'm going to put you in charge of that because otherwise I'm doing the recording and all I'm recording are people instead of the crossword.
Understood.
Okay. All right. We're good.
I will
All
unmute.
right.
Raise your hand.
All right, so let me just scroll through here. Okay, so does everybody see the puzzle?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, and on the right, you see all the clues, or are the clues covered in part by faces?
Covered by faces.
Okay, so just so you know, that's okay. If you want to keep the faces there, you can, or I think if you go to the top, there's a little series of icons. If you press the minimize one to the left, you could make the faces go away. But I just want to point out to you, as you could see by my cursor on the grid, I'm now at 1 across. Can you see that?
Yes.
All right. Above, right here, is going to be the clue that we're working on. So this 1 across clue is HOSP, hospital hookups, whereas if I went to 1 down, you'll see that it changed to cousin of Gomez Adams. So you don't have to see all the clues. The clue we're working on will be right up here. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. So when I start a puzzle, first of all, I said that this was September 19th, 2018. So what happens, sometimes when you do the puzzle, it's good to know where you are in time, because oftentimes, like around Valentine's Day, there might be a puzzle that has to do with love. Mother's Day might be about mothers. So mid-September each year, what could possibly be happening? What holiday might be around that time? Oh, everybody's muted, right?
Raise your hand and I'll unmute you. Or I'll unmute everybody.
Do you think that we should try and see how it goes if everybody is unmuted at first?
Let's try it. We'll try it that
Yes.
way. Okay, I will try it that way. I'm going to, but Mara, you have to do it because now you're the host.
I'm doing it.
Okay.
I am
All right.
unmuting everyone.
All right, so let's just get started. I mean, I know that I could only see the across clues, but let's just start from the beginning. You don't have to start at the beginning. You can start wherever you want, but let's start at the beginning at 1 across. So hospital or HOSP hookups. Anybody have any ideas?
IVs.
Right. And why is it IVs instead of intravenous? How do you know that the answer is going to be an abbreviation?
The hospital.
Hospital is abbreviated.
Oh, clever.
Correct. So every time you have a clue in the New York Times puzzle that's abbreviated, you know that the answer has to be abbreviated. So whoever gave that answer is correct. It's IVs.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, if you're a crossword puzzler, you have the option of going everywhere you want, but it's smarter to just go where you can you have some letters already to cross. So let's go to 1 down. 3 letters that begin with an I. Cousin of Gomez Adams. Cousin it is correct. How do you spell that?
2 T's. ITT.
Okay. Now we've got 2 down. 4 letters that begins with a V. End of Caesar's boast.
VD.
I need to remind everybody.
Excellent. So the end would be what?
Vicky.
How do you spell it?
VICI.
Good. Now, all of a sudden, we've got
Vini,
something
Vidi, Vicky.
strange. Could somebody tell me what they see that's a little strange right now?
TC.
Blank.
EC.
Correct. What on earth could start with TC? So the clue is knickknack.
Tachka.
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 Very good.
Wait, Steve, I have a question. I raised my hand. This
I
is
see you.
Stephanie.
I recognize you.
Okay, I know. I wanted to ask you a question. So you're advocating that once you have some letters, you go to those. You don't do all across and then try to go down.
Well, I don't think a experienced crossword puzzler. I mean, you could do that.
But I
But-
don't do that. But I'm curious to know. I'm just curious. So that's your recommendation, that you do wherever you have letters, you start going there.
Right. You're asking me a question you know the answer to, I think. Yes. So when you're doing a crossword puzzle, obviously when you're starting, you've got a blank slate in front of you. And as you get letters, it makes sense to just take advantage of those letters to help you get the rest. So we've got this really bizarre situation at 16 across that starts with a TC. Sounds like we've got a new entry. So someone correctly said the answer, but here's the dilemma.
What you doing for excitement?
How does one spell this weird word?
That's good.
Yeah.
No idea.
Wow.
No idea.
Wait, I know there's
No
an H.
Yiddish?
Here, come see this. Here, come,
Okay,
come sit with me and watch
that's
this.
okay.
Really?
I mean, who would know how to spell this, really? I mean, I don't even know why it starts
I
with
was interested in F-150, but I really. have
Nara, you
no,
need to remind everyone that they're
reason
on.
to
They're
spend
not
the
on
money
mute.
on anything like that anymore.
All right, so let's not try to even try to spell it now. Let's just go
I'm
to
sure, yeah.
19 across. 5 letters, starts with I. The clue is a custom, and then in parentheses 2.
Yeah, good deal.
Inure.
Whoever is speaking, we hear a lot of background noise. Please mute yourself.
Okay, I think I heard somebody say the correct answer. Can you say it again?
Inure.
Good.
How do you spell that?
Inure.
Good. So
Yeah, all right,
when-
enjoy it.
when you have a clue like that that says a custom and then a parentheses 2,
Oh,
the
sorry.
answer usually means that, in this case, inure to. You don't generally just say the word inure. It's generally followed by the word to. So that's what they're suggesting here. And everybody understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. What about 13 across? Part of XXX.
No, no.
Pick. 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 Pick.
Okay.
they
As
paid.
opposed to what would the other things that it could have been?
Pick. Tack.
Part of tic-tac-toe, right?
Right.
All right, here's one that we should be able to get with so many
Right.
people here. A dog with a bearded muzzle that starts with an SC.
Schnauzer.
Good. How do you spell that?
Yeah,
S.
they're shut down. Yeah.
Use
O.
AUSDR. SER.
That is, I
S.
think, the
Oh,
Z.
really? Wow.
All right, so we have Schnauzer. So what I would do in this puzzle
Wow.
is, I've got a Z here. So Z's are usually a little bit easier to cross than other letters because it's more uncommon. So what's the clue for 30 across? It's Frank, blank, and Sammy, the ultimate event, 1989 documentary.
Liza.
Ah.
Wow, it took me a while to get that one because I wasn't immediately thinking, I guess, of the Rat Pack, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought it was Dean first. Yeah.
And I had no idea this wasn't my kind of group, but I had no idea that Liza had anything to do with them, but now I know. All right, so we have now seen that this tchotchke begins with TCH.
Right.
So what's the probable next letter?
O.
Okay, so if we put an O there and we have 17 down, I'm blank here.
outer.
Outa.
Right, I'm out of here. Kind of a little slang in there. We have this one letter for 22 across remaining. The Falcons on a scoreboard.
Atlanta ATL.
Yeah, Atlanta. Right?
ATL.
Correct. They're saying on a scoreboard because on a scoreboard, you're never going to see the whole word Atlanta. You're just going to have the abbreviation. So 14 down, we've got a couple of letters. Undo, shortcut, and Microsoft Word. Undo, shortcut.
Control.
Control U.
Control.
It's control.
That's
something.
good. That's good. I don't know.
Okay, good.
I don't know
Control
what
Z.
the.
Yeah, control CN.
Well, so we're pretty
Doesn't
confident
fit.
that the first 2 letters are what?
CT.
and
Okay,
CT.
and that's
PT.
Z.
Control Z, is that correct?
Yeah, right. All right, sounds good.
Okay,
Not worried. Yeah.
so check it out. At 24 across, we've got another weird looking
Chutzpah.
Chutzpah.
shameless
Jewish.
audacity.
This is a very Jewish
Chutzpah.
puzzle.
Rosh Hashanah is the holiday. Rosh Hashanah.
Right, and tchotchke, you have chutzpah.
All right,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
all
sure
coming
it'll-
together.
and,
It's all coming together for
Yeah,
you
hopefully I'm
guys.
around for the long run.
How do you spell chutzpah?
Oh,
CHUTZPAH.
yeah, no problem.
Like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Guys, who's ever on the phone, please mute yourself. We can hear your whole conversation.
24 down, we've got 4 letters beginning with CL. Give someone a hand.
Clap.
Clap.
Okay.
Also, the last letters of Schnauzer are
On
wrong.
the anniversary.
Great.
Oh, you're right.
You are.
Schnauzer.
Last year I got $8,000 in interest.
Thank you.
This year I got $500 in interest because participate.
Getting all the secret
I
stock
just
tips
love it.
next.
I know, guys.
Yeah, I understand why, but I'm just
All right, who's on the phone? Informal greeting, HI blank blank.
Hi.
YA.
Hiya.
Hiya. YA.
Well, since we have some disparity in thought
The
here, how about C at C?
AYA.
Right.
Okay, so what do we want for 25 down for the
Hiya.
informal?
A.
Hiya. HIYA.
Correct. All right, so 41 across, we've got 3 of the 5 letters. The clue is Italian city known for its cheese.
Arma.
Parma.
Huh, what cheese comes from Parma?
I didn't know that.
Parmesan.
Right. I didn't know that. I mean,
I don't either.
I mean, I know Parmesan cheese, obviously, but, and I have heard of the city Parma, but I don't know if I ever put it together. So 42 down, we've got the first letter of looks like a 7-letter clue. Fancy hotel room amenity.
Massage.
That's good.
Okay, could be massage. Should I put it in?
Yeah, try it.
Check.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so if massage is correct, then 45 across starts with an A, severe displeasure.
Ugh. AUG.
GH.
Well, let's go over here. Let's move into the central part of the country. Tire gauge measure, P blank blank.
Pressure. P.
Pounds.
Yeah.
No.
P-
Pounds per something.
Oh,
Well,
it's,
let's move on.
yeah, it's,
We don't have to, when I do the puzzle, even on a relatively easy puzzle, there's going to be more that I don't know at first than I do know, but eventually you get it. So there's no crime in not being sure. You could put it in lightly with a pencil or lightly with a pen, but let's move on to 27 down. Actor nominated for 34 Emmys.
Alda.
Alda.
Hey,
Alan Alda.
okay. So just so you know, Alan Alda is a very popular actor for the puzzle. 4 letters, you've got two vowels. 28 down, couldn't help but.
Had to.
Had to.
Right. Now, in one of my classes not long ago, someone brought up, wait, I didn't realize that you can have more than one word in an answer. And at one point that was true in the Times, but that goes back decades. I think at one point, if it was more than one word, they would say in parentheses, 2 words or 3
2 words.
but they don't do that anymore. So couldn't help but is you had to. All right, so how about 43 across?
Ada.
Girl or boy intro.
Ada.
Right.
Atta.
Huh.
Attaboy. ATTA.
All right. Now, this kind of a clue for girl or boy intro, what else could it have been?
It's a.
It's a.
Correct. And
It's a.
this is another thing that comes up in the Times puzzle all the time. There'll be a clue like that, and you know it's either attaboy or it's a boy, or atta girl or it's a girl. And the only reason we know that it's atta is because we have the A from Alda.
Alda.
Got it?
Right.
Mm.
All right, 38 across. Source of the 6 longest answers, across
Yiddish.
answers in this
Yiddish.
puzzle.
It is.
Right. We know that because we know it's tchotchke, even though we don't know how to spell it yet. And we've got chutzpah, so Yiddish seems to me like a pretty good bet. So let's get that in. What is 31 across? Response
Slap.
to an affront.
Slap.
Good.
Yeah.
All right,
Very
so if
good.
it's slap, then we've just learned that 26 down, tire gauge measure is PSI, pounds per square inch.
Right.
Right.
How do you say capiche in Yiddish? All right, too bad too bad in quotes.
Pity.
When it's a-
Pity. Pity.
Right. So when a clue is in quotes, they want the answer to be as if you're saying the same thing. Another way of saying too bad might be to say pity. All right, and now we've got this other weird start here at 47 across with an OY. Geez.
No, oi, vez
Oi,
mir.
oi, oi. It's oi, oi, oi.
No,
Oy, oy, oy.
No,
It's
I'm not-
oi, oi, oi.
I'm not going to put in oi, oi, oi yet.
Oy vez me.
oh, vez mir, right.
That's could be. I mean, that we'd get into another issue about how to spell oy vez mir. But what's 39 down? Yield to gravity. S.A. blank.
Bag.
sad.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Ag.
So if SAG is correct,
Oh, oi, continue.
Oigavalt.
Like a vault.
Oy, gewalt.
Oh, oi, gewalt.
now we're getting somewhere. Oy Gewalt. How do you spell Gewalt?
EVALT.
E-A-L-T.
Right.
Like that?
Oi, gewalt,
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay. What is that? What does that literally translate to? I'm asking. I don't know.
Oh, my God.
Oh, how terrible.
Okay. Well, I think we all know, but from context, what it means. What it means. I just don't. Is Gewalt? Is that an actual Yiddish word? I don't know. I guess it is. All right. Author Zola.
Emil. Emil.
With an
Emil.
Yeah, Emil.
Spelled like that.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. 44 down. We've got a V there, which are good letters. Sheep-like.
Ovine.
Bovine. Bovine. No.
Ovine. Ovine.
Okay.
It's ovine.
Bovine.
Correct. What
Ovine.
would, if it was cow-like, what would it be?
Ovine.
If it was horse-like, what would it be?
Equine.
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 If it was cat-like,
Feline.
Feline.
Fine.
Feline.
so sheep-like is ovine. All right, 41 across. Rose Bowl, for example.
Oval.
Oval is right.
Hmm.
It's not the easiest of clues because when you think about the Rose Bowl, you're thinking about a game.
Right.
You're thinking about a stadium. You're not necessarily thinking about its shape. But we'll put it in and see if it's right. 36 down. What S may stand for on a
Salt.
dinner
Salt.
table?
Salt.
Salt.
All
Salt.
right, that's a giveaway. 35 down. Even on the hardest puzzles. Now, we'll talk a little bit about that. You know that
Uh-oh.
during the
L-O.
week, the times puzzles gets harder and harder. Monday's the easiest, and as you progress, it gets harder. I happen to think that Thursday is often the hardest. Most people think Friday and Saturday is. And Sunday, a lot of people think is the hardest, but to me, it's more like a Thursday, sometimes even easier. Anyway, in every puzzle, even the hardest on Friday and Saturday, there's always going to be a few clues that you can get to get yourself started. All right, alternative to Israel Airlines.
Hello.
Hello.
Has anyone ever? I've never heard of Israel. Has anyone heard of
Izmir.
it?
Yeah.
Izmir.
Yeah.
Rare. It's
Israel.
rare.
It is LLO.
All right, so now we've got it over here at 38 down. We've got a long one that starts with YA. Gridiron marker.
Yard. Something.
Yard line.
Yard
Line.
Fine.
Yard line.
Yes.
Okay, let's see
Gridiron
if it
marker.
works. How about 45 across? Severe displeasure. ARG.
ARG, maybe. ARG.
Or
Arg.
Okay. Now keep in mind on 42 down, fancy hotel room amenity,
Yeah.
I'd
we
be
have
wrong.
massage.
Wrong.
So keep in mind that there might be a mistake. So let's say there is a mistaken massage. What could severe displeasure be?
Higher.
Iron.
Higher.
Okay.
Very good.
So if ire is right, then 46 down starts with an E. Sushi roll fish.
Eel.
Eel.
Yeah.
Okay. So 45 across, severe displeasure is an R. What should it be?
I.
Higher.
Okay. So,
Mini bar.
so now we know that massage is probably wrong.
Mini
Let's
bar.
get rid of the rest of this stuff.
Oh, yeah, mini
Oh
bar.
yeah, mini bar.
Mini
Oh,
bar.
Good.
You want to go with minibar?
You guys are
Yeah,
smart.
mini bar.
Okay.
49.
So let's go to 49 across. 2 or 3 ring holder.
Binder.
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 Very good.
You know, when I first saw this clue, I was thinking for some reason, when I saw
Ring.
2 or 3 ring before I saw the holder, the first thing I was thinking about was a circus.
Oh,
Anyway. All right, since we jumped to 52 across, we only need 1 letter. Cool amount of money.
Mill.
Okay, so
A meal.
what was it about the clue, cool amount of money, that lets you know that mill is correct?
The quotation marks.
Right, because there's a slang phrase,
Right, it's not.
cool mill, right?
Cool.
All right, so now we've got a long one over here at
Cool mill.
34 down, for which we've got 3 letters with a V.
Lava lamp.
19,
else.
that was
Lava
fast,
lamp.
1960s
Lava
lava
lamp.
lamp.
So good, Stephanie.
Light.
So is it lava lamp or lava lamps?
L-A-M.
Lamps. Because there's
Oh,
an
it's got to be
S at the end.
plural.
Yeah.
Right, the reason it's plural, the reason it's lava lamps is why,
Sources is plural.
Sources.
right. So it's always going to match. The clue and the answer always have to match. If it's a plural clue, it's got to be a plural answer. Now, that sometimes leads to problems because a lot of people see a plural and automatically put an S at the end of the word. If they don't know the answer, they'll just put an S down there. So why is that not a good idea?
Because there could be an S on the first word of 2.
It could be 2
Correct?
words.
Why else?
Not
Not
every
every plural word is.
Not every plural word ends in S.
Correct. So you can kind of put in an S if that you think that'll help you, and most of the time you're going to be right, but a lot of the times you're not.
Tail.
Moving on, 33 across.
Tails.
Follower of
Tail.
twice told or old wives.
Tail.
Tails.
Tails.
Right, you could have a twice told tale or an old wives' tale. All right, we are doing well. So now we're down to 53 down, a fairly long one. Long involved account.
Saga.
Yeah, but that's,
53 across.
Oh, it's across. Oh.
Across.
We don't have to get it now. We can go to 55 across. Mount that Moses mounted.
Sinai.
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 Okay. Boy, there sure is a theme to this
Yeah.
It's
puzzle.
Jewish, very Jewish.
Megillah. 53 is Megillah.
Oh, good one.
Gilla.
Megillah.
Right, Durham.
Oh, geez. Megillah.
Age.
Was Megillah Gorilla a Jewish? Was he a Jewish guy?
A-H.
All right. Now, I had to look this up. In fact, I looked it up just before we started today because I didn't realize that Megillah had some sort of Jewish, Hebrew, Yiddish connection, but it does.
Hebrew. It's
Really?
It's the story that's told during Purim. So
Yeah,
it's a long
the
involved.
story of Esther.
Oh,
But
really?
then people always say, like, the whole Megillah is the whole big story.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Boy, I'm a bad Jew. 53 down. Organization, abbreviated, org, advocating highway safety.
Oh, MAD, Moms Against Drunk Driving.
Mad.
M-A-D-D.
You want to put that in for now? We'll put in Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, okay. At 57 across? Yeah.
Hang on, don't skip ahead now. 64 across. John, who invented the steel plow.
Dear.
Here.
Here.
Okay, that's an easy one. How about 61 across? Backless sofa.
Divan. Divan.
D-I.
D-I-V-A-N.
Very good.
Alibi.
Alibi.
So
Alibi.
57 across, a suspect out. As
Alibi.
an alibi. Okay,
Alibi.
so by doing these acrosses, we got some that are going down just by default. So 49 down, misrepresent is to belie.
Eli.
50 down, uncle, in quotations, meaning
Oh, I give.
I give.
I give,
up.
right.
Cry uncle.
Right.
And mini bar looks like it's good. Yard line is good. So how about 51 down? Opposite of pans.
Raves.
Raves. Raves.
Right.
Like a review.
Correct. So this is a good example of,
Oh, raves. Okay.
this is a very good example of how words in English can have many, 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 many different meanings. So if you just saw this clue and you didn't have any of the letters yet, opposite of pans, I mean, you're probably first going to think about pots and pans.
Right.
Only because you have the RA do you start to think about the other meanings of pan. And to pan a movie, if you're a critic, is to give it a bad review, as opposed to a rave review.
A rave review.
All right, so now we've got another long one at 58 across. And before I even show that clue, you're thinking to yourself, what?
Verklempt.
Yeah.
That's what I meant, and that's the correct answer. What I meant is that you're thinking, because you already know what the theme of this puzzle is, you have another long one, that it's probably going to be another Yiddish word.
Right.
So, choked up with emotion, verklempt, how do you spell that?
Verklempt.
E-R-K.
E-R-K-L-E-M-P-T.
P-T.
All right, I have a confession to make. I grew up in a Jewish family. My grandma spoke some Yiddish. I knew a bunch of words. I had never heard this word. The first time I ever heard this word was Mike Myers doing.
Mike Myers on Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live, verklempt.
That's the first time, and I learned that word from a non-Jewish man.
Right.
Okay. 54 down, Bolivar in much of South America.
Hero.
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 All right, who was this guy?
Simon.
All right, what's
He was
this
a conqueror.
62 across? Naively optimistic.
Bernie.
You guys are too good. This is too easy. Next time I'm going to give a hard one. All right. Old TV's guiding light.
Soap.
Cool. How about 66 across? The W2 datum.
SSS. Social Security. SSN. Social Security number.
Right. You know it's an abbreviation because the clue says abbreviation in that case. Okay. 56 down. Major New York Stock Exchange events. Again,
IPOs.
what does that stand for?
Initial public offerings.
Correct. 60 down. Half a score or a perfect score.
10.
10.
Right. Half a score. So in this case, they're saying half a score. Half of a score is 20, so half of that is 10.
10.
I guess you could also, there was a George Carlin bit once where he said something like, and here's a partial score, 10. But in this case, it's it's half of a score. All right, so we've got this 8 down hanging out that ends in TH. So you might be thinking again that since it's pretty long, maybe it's a Yiddish thing. Sort who can't keep a secret.
Something mouth.
Right.
Behemoth.
Big mouth.
Behemoth.
Big mouth.
Okay,
No,
well,
behemoth, maybe.
that might be right. I just want to point something out to you. This is not 100% the case all the time, but usually if most of the kind of theme-oriented clues are going across, they're probably all going across, and there won't be a theme one going down. So just something to keep in mind. So, Big Mouth might be right, but let's just check it. If Big Mouth is correct, then 8 across begins with a B. 2 by 4 for 1.
8.
Brick.
Truck. Brick.
Well, what's a 2 by 4?
Truck?
It's a piece of wood.
Wood.
Right. Okay, so if Big Mouth is correct,
It's
then
a
15
beam.
across begins with an I. Not so cordial.
No?
How about
Rude.
if Big Mouth is correct, then 18 across.
Isolate.
Well, let's see if we get one for sure.
Green,
Painter's primer.
Green?
That's a tough one.
Mm.
Okay. All right. So if Big Mouth is correct, then this letter here would be U. So
Right.
what's
O-U-I.
29 across?
O-U-I, we.
Wait, right.
Okay. Why is it we?
Yvette is a
O-I.
French name. So
Oh,
yes.
Yvette is a
Yes.
French name, right?
Yes.
Okay. How about 21 down? TV debut of 1972. That's a tough one. 9 down.
HBO.
Locale of Tuvalu and Nauru.
Africa? No.
No, it's
Eight.
India. It's India.
Eurasia.
India doesn't fit.
Eurasia.
I know it doesn't fit. but it-
Eurasia.
Let's go back here. 14 across. Churchill prop.
Cigar.
Cane.
Cigar.
Excellent.
Oh, your cigar. Oh, close cane. Okay.
All right. How about 4 down? Crosstown rival of the University of Houston.
Rice.
Right.
Right.
Rice.
Right.
Rice is another college in Houston.
Touch. And
Okay, so now it's another quote. That's disgusting. So we need an answer that's the same as saying that's disgusting.
Hug.
UGH.
Okay, so look how we're doing on tchotchke now. So that looks like it could be correct. How might it end?
I-E.
AI.
Double E.
K-E.
Okay.
Tchotchke. How does tchotchke end now?
Shot.
K-E. K-E.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So if we've got that K now, what's 6 down? Noted Fifth Avenue Emporium.
Sax.
Sax.
Perfect. And how about standing tall?
Erect.
Erect.
Erect. Erect.
All right. So that makes 4 across. Sneaky scheme is a ruse or ruse. How about 20 across? We've got SC. Excessive sentimentality.
Schmaltzy.
Schmaltzy.
Very good.
Very good.
That's good.
Okay, so if it's schmaltzy or schmaltz or whatever, what would that box be?
C-H.
H.
Okay, so
M.
that
M.
M.
hang on,
M.
so
A.
hang on, I'm at 21 down now. TV debut of
HBO.
1972.
HBO.
Oh, HBO.
Okay, so that leaves another couple of weird letters here. T and B. That can't be a word.
T-bone.
Some
T-bones.
take orders.
T-bone.
T-bones.
Excellent. All right, so 8 down now. Sort who can't keep a secret.
Oh,
That
mouth.
Big Mouth is
The M
looking
is
better
big
and
mouth.
better, right?
Right. Right.
All right, and so is schmaltz or something to that effect. Excessive sentimentality.
A-L-T-Z.
A-L-L-T-Z.
T.
All right, so we have a Z
Schmaltz.
hanging out here. At 12 down, we've got a Z. Physician who was once
Dr.
a regular.
Dr. Oz.
Yeah.
Dr. Oz.
Right.
What's our feeling about Dr. Oz these days?
He's
Not much feelings.
Not good.
So 2x4 is a board.
A board.
2x4 is a board. All right, so any takers now on the locale of Tuvalu and Nauru?
Oceania.
Oceania?
Oceania.
Yeah, Oceania.
I don't know. We've never heard of it, but
Okay, well,
Oceania.
let's see if it works. 15 across.
I
Not so
I see it.
cordial.
I see it.
I see her.
I know that one of you got this already earlier,
Yeah.
and I apologize. for
Someone
not
else said
doing it
I
that
see her.
time. I just want to acknowledge that I do remember that somebody got this. All right, 10 down.
Aisle.
Separator
Aisle.
of some rows.
Aisle.
Right.
Aisle.
All right, we've got one letter left. Snoozes.
Rests.
All right,
Rest.
before I put in that S though, I just want to go to 18 across because I didn't know this word.
Gesso?
Painter's primer.
Guess
Gesso?
so.
Did
Is
not
someone
know.
familiar with that word? Gesso? Gesso?
No.
I
No.
wasn't either. But this is not uncommon.
Painter's
I,
primer. Guess so.
I do the puzzle every day and I have for decades. And there are still some words and some situations I'm not going to get. But I am going to get it going the other way. Anyway, I'm going to press in this S here, and it's going to say congratulations, hopefully, unless I put something in
Yay.
wrong. So let's see if we get that.
I'll never not know it.
Wow, yay.
Oh,
Congrats to us.
Yay.
So there you go.
Awesome.
That's it. That's the puzzle. You guys did great.
This is fun to do as a group.
Oh, it
Yeah, a lot of
absolutely
fun.
is.
it's much easier as a group.
Yes.
Now, I can tell you, though, that it's not likely that next time we're going to have this kind of Yiddish theme. So I hope that's okay.
Fantastic.
All right.
Does
Thanks.
anyone
Everybody
have
good?
any, does anybody have any, if you don't mind taking an extra second, does anyone have any overall questions regarding the crossword that maybe weren't addressed in this specific one? About some of the clues, or just to get, anyone,
Sure.
Leslie has a question.
So if it's a subject you don't know and you come to a standstill, do you look it up?
I never do.
Never.
Here's a thing of how I do the crossword puzzle. Maybe let's say it's a hard one on Friday or Saturday. I might start it. I've often started a crossword puzzle on Friday or Saturday and have gotten like a handful of words and I can't do it anymore. I mean, it's easy to go back and check, but I am telling you that if you put it down and just get your brain off of it for a little while and come back to it,
Yeah.
I guarantee you will get more. That being said, once you have given it as much of an effort as you can muster, you need to go and check the answers because that's how you learn. You're not necessarily, you're going to learn words. Of course, you're going to learn words, but arguably more importantly, you're going to begin to understand the little tricks that the times puzzle is always getting at. That's how you're going to get better, even more so than learning words. You know, I mean, how many words in the puzzle that we just did do you not know? I mean, maybe that gesso, Oceania, you might not know, but most of the words you know. So it's not so much about the words. It's about just getting the feel and getting your brain thinking the way that Will Shortz and these crossword constructors think. Did I answer the question?
That was,
Good. You did, sure.
are there any other questions? Just,
So I have a question.
yes, Leslie.
Okay, I heard that the Sunday puzzle is equivalent in difficulty to the Wednesday. Is that correct?
I said earlier that I thought it was more equivalent to Thursday.
Okay.
A lot of people think that the Sunday is the hardest, which is anyone who does the puzzle clearly knows that that's not true. But Sunday always has a trick, and they're generally not that hard to figure out. Once you get it, it just makes everything easier. Wednesday, like the one we did today, is definitely easier as a rule than Sunday. But Thursday, as I said earlier, to me is the one that scares me the most because the trick on Thursday is often way harder to get than on Sunday. And I feel more comfortable doing the tough Friday and Saturday, which never have a trick to it. They're just hard, what we call fill. But Thursday and Sunday always have a trick. And sometimes they have other themes, but this wasn't a trick. The puzzle we did today wasn't a trick. There was a theme, but there wasn't a trick.
Can you give us an example of a trick?
Well, in a puzzle I'm going to do tomorrow for the JCC of Rockland, there's something called a rebus, in which you're struggling to get the answer. And you know what the answer should be, but it's just not fitting. And in the case of a rebus, what they're looking to do is you need to fill one square with more than one letter. I have it in front of me.
Oh, I've seen that one.
So in this puzzle I'm doing tomorrow, the answer is bootlegs, but it only has 5 letters. And you have to figure out through frustration that something's wrong here. And then you realize after you've done the puzzle for a long time and have come across this, that, oh, this must be one of those situations where they need more than one letter in a box. So that's an example of a trick.
I didn't even know that was possible. Wow.
Yep. And sometimes, like in a recent Sunday puzzle, I think there were arrows on the grid itself. And what they wanted to do, the answers actually turn directions. You know, you'd start going right, and then you'd go down to finish the answer. And these are all things that you just get from experience, which the only way you're going to do that is by doing the puzzle every day, do it as best as you can, and then check the answers.
When it requires more than one letter in a box, is it usually a double letter?
You mean just 2 letters?
Well, no, it was usually, in
Same
case
letter.
of bootleg, it was OO. So is it always a double letter and one of the O's is left out?
In this case, it was the whole word boot went in first, and then LEGS.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
So in this puzzle, I mean, and you could look at it, it was, if you have the times online, it was just from April 30th, so just a few days ago. So you could check that out. And the theme had something to do with shoes. So each time you found one of these boxes that required more than one letter, it turned out to be a type of shoe. So in one case it was boot, in another case it was flat or wedge or pump. And I think the thematic clue, the answer was corner kicks. So all of these places where you had to put in more than one letter in a box were on the corner, because the themes was corner kicks. So you knew that each one of these would appear on the corner, and kicks, I guess, is a slang word for shoes.
Yeah.
Usually for
So
sneakers, right?
that was a really clever one. And that, just so you know, was on a Thursday.
I'll be staying away from those hard ones for a while.
All right, so if anyone doesn't have any other questions, thank you so much, Steve. Nara, did you want to add anything?
I just wanted, I typed it into the chat. I just wanted to thank Steve. This was an amazing first
So much fun.
experience with your expertise. And I wanted to thank everybody for joining us. This was so much fun.
And we hope to see you next Thursday for our next Senior Connections Arts and Talks program, the talk we have with the Broadway singer. So we hope to see you guys then.
Great.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, it was
Thank
great.
you so much, Steve. This was awesome. Bye, everyone.
Hope we have another one.
Yeah, we'll make it
We'll
happen.
do it again.
Thank you.
Sayonara.